an exciting year. I've had a real exciting year, but my night bite, it didn't start this year. It started last year in April. And it started because of Mackie May. You know, he was saying, hey, you know, they're hitting good in January, February, March, and I didn't get on until April. But last April, I was at a family function, 1st of April, and my son-in-law's stepdad showed me his pictures of stripers. There was 22 stripers on all his pictures. He said, I caught 22 last night, 17 the night before. I said, no way, how? And it took me a while to get it out of him, but he said hit sticks. And this was when hit sticks was really starting to roll. And I did go the next day. I bought some hit sticks. I went out that night and crushed them. So all of April I crushed them, but I didn't push it hard in May. And then June came, and hunting season started in October. Ken and I went from October to January. We killed, what, how many, 20 deer? We had a blast. But that December, you talk about all of our information resources. We got GroupMe. There's a Smith Mountain Lake Striper page. Do you administer that, right, Chad?
Yes.
And so there's one guy on there that was catching fish in December. Big fish, and you probably remember, big fish, slot fish. And I instant messaged him, and I just took the chance. I said, well, he's going to either shut me down or he's going to help me out. And he said, John, he goes, 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce, soft plastic, slow as you can reel it in. No way. I remember it, because hunt season ended on Saturday. That night, 7 o'clock, my wife puts on a Hallmark channel. I said, I can't do this. So I said, you mind if I go fishing for a little bit? And she said, yeah, go ahead. I'm just going to go for an hour. 11 o'clock, she calls me up in a panic. Are you okay? I said, I'm having the time of my life. I think I caught 13, 14 fish. 7 or 8 of them were slots, big slots, and it was all I could catch. And it was absolute blast. So from that January 7th to now, I probably caught about over 350, and it's because of what I picked up from Mackie May. Mackie's the one that said, don't wait for April, they're hitting in January. Remember that? Yeah, he said they're hitting in January. And Sean had taught me some things, and so I got into it, and I started fine-tuning it. So my goal is we're all here to learn how to catch more fish. And that's why I joined the club, not to be social with Walter, you know. I want to catch more fish, and I think you guys do too. So hopefully, if I can say a few things that'll help you catch some more fish, you know, hopefully take it back, and please raise your hand for something that I missed. Tell me, because I'm always trying to put something together. But I don't know if you have that sheet I have here that I sent you. Can you put that up? The night bite?
Oh. Let me look for that.
And he'll put John, if you would, he's going to put my little cheat sheet out there, so if you want to copy it and kind of look at it and get an idea of what's going on. But I have the best times. January to March, sunset to 2 a.m. January, the sun goes down, as it's going down, you can go out and you can catch fish anywhere. Points, coves, lights. And I really started capitalizing on that. March to June, 11 to 5 a.m., and I realized it last night, July to September now, things are starting to go real late again. Like last night I fished, I had nothing happen until 3 o'clock. Once 3 hit, it was one of those all-you-could-catch nights. It was a blast. Wind and rain are my assets. If the wind is less than 15 miles an hour, and it keeps and not only that, it keeps the other anglers away. When I'm out on the lake and I find certain spots, lights, overhead lights, green lights, coves, and you know, I've hit them over and over and over, nobody's on the lake, and all of a sudden someone's there, it's like, what the hell are they doing in my light? That's mine. Well, I know it's not, but that's the advantage of night fishing. You know, that nobody else is out there.
Okay, it's up there.
Thank you. And before and during a weather front are outstanding times. Some of my best times is I'm looking at the clock and I'm going, or the weather map, and here comes a front rolling through. It's going to hit 2 o'clock. So I'm going to go from 10 to 2, and I get to the dock just as it starts to rain. But in the meantime, I'm killing them. Big fish, like I said, big fish, January and February. And artificial targets, banks, points, lights from January to May. And when I say, and Mackie May, I keep giving Mackie May, he's the one that turned me on in January, and that's what I cleaned up this year. and the Striper, SML Striper Fishing page at Facebook. A lot of good information. People that's not in this club, that they throw a picture up and say, hey, I caught this fish. And I always, okay, how'd they get it? What'd they do? How'd they catch it? Sometimes I message them, sometimes they give me information, sometimes they don't. Any light whatsoever, January and February, don't pass up a dock light, an overhead light. If it's a dim little gold light, and some of my lights I marked down on my map, I said a gold light. It's not a bright light, but I can throw an artificial to it or a hit stick and pull a fish out, and you'll hear about it coming up here. It's the perfect cast. You get the perfect cast, I know I'm going to get a fish. I know if I throw that lure perfectly that first time, I'm going to get a fish. My best lights have been weak overhead dock lights. Well, before last night, my personal best was an overhead light. And I loved it. I took my neighbors out. They said, John, please take us out. And we caught one, and I let them cast. If you ever have 3 in a boat night fishing, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. So they're casting, and I was just trying to keep the boat still, and she goes, go ahead, you do it. I want to see a fish. Second cast, I have 36-inch and brought it in, and they were hooked. You know, they had a blast. So they're out trying night fish, but I think they're getting more trees and docks than anything else. And January, February too, when the water is clear, be ready all the way to the boat. Right now, when I'm throwing, if it's not hitting right at the banks or coming over that point or at the light, within that light, I'm not going to get a fish to the boat. But in January, February, the water's so clear, I go slow all the way to the boat, and many a time I'll get a fish right there at the boat. It's wild. It'll scare the, here it is, 2 in the morning. It's quiet, nobody on the lake, and when something blows up right there in front of you, it scares the living daylights out of you. And then lights, points, and banks, May to September. I didn't hit it hard, but I can take a little bit of an example of it. And keep out as far as you can throw. I'll talk about it coming up. I really went to consistency. So I rigged up all my rods and reels the same, and we'll talk about it. But you want to be out as far as you can throw. Those fish know, and I saw it time after time again. If I pulled up to a light and there was 10 fish circling, or that I saw a fish blowing up here and there, I would throw, catch one. Next time I look, there's only 3 fish. Next time I look, there's no fish. They hear your trolling motor. They hear you banging around the boat when you're trying to get it in the boat, and they hear everything. So I got some techniques to go ahead and counteract the noise. Each light has its money maker. And I was telling Chad this the other day for the perfect cast. Your Chad are going clockwise or counterclockwise. When you see them at your house, are they going clockwise or counter? Yeah, they're going counterclockwise.
Yes,
so
that's
when
correct.
I throw, I'm throwing to the left of the light, so I'm bringing it with them. If I throw to the right, I'm going right into their nose, and I don't get as many hits. So I throw on the left side of the light, or a point, or whatever the fit where the shadow's circling, and I get more hits. But the money maker cast, because once you cast it and you mess up, you just scare a couple fish away, 3 fish away. But if you get that perfect cast, you have a good chance of getting it. Use heading mode when I do too, and I used it a lot last night. I was just telling Ken about it today. He's my partner in crime, so whenever you hear me talking about it, him and I hit it hard in January, but he kind of backed out in February. He needed more beauty sleep than I needed.
And it shows, don't it?
Oh, yeah.
But I got a nice text from him the other morning. I couldn't go pull boards. He goes, John, I hit one of your lights. And he goes, I caught 3 and lost 1. And he showed me a picture of a broken rod. It was a horse.
Wow.
I use the heading mode. When I hook it, I headed out the main lake, and I just put on navigation, and I last night it was wild. If you don't pump, you just hold it like this, that fish will come right out with you and won't really fight you. But once he feels you fighting, trying to reel it in, he's pumping and he's pulling away. So what I did last night was, many a time I just held it like this. He came right out, got out from underneath the poles, the brush piles that are shallow. I pulled him right out. So my take rate was pretty good last night. 10 to 15 casts, move on. Keep 3 crank rods and 6 plastics ready. And I changed it because the first night out, I had a 6-foot rod, 6.5-foot rod, 7-foot rod. I had mono on one, braid on the other. This was 8 pound, this was 12. And I found when you're throwing at night, you're throwing blind, just put a mask over your face and try and throw out there. You realize it's pretty doggone tough. Right, Walter? And I took him out, and he passed the test, so I told him next time you come in, I said, you'll be able to be in the front of the boat. But go ahead and rig up everything the same. So I have, and you're welcome to look at it. I found Bass Pro Shop, 7 foot, 1 blank, medium heavy rod. It's perfect for me. I found a Fluger reel, SP 400, and I put 15-pound braid that comes out to 8-pound diameter mono. And it'll cast a hit stick easy. It will cast a 1/4 ounce and an 1/8 ounce jig real easy. So I got them all the same, so I know when I cast, I'm going to try and get that perfect cast. And dark light dark. Most of you guys know what that means. When you come up to a line or even a point, you want to throw on the other side and bring it through. And these lights, and if you see them up top, when you throw it, you can bring it in with them. But if you know they're there, because you'll see the light changing colors, you know they're down deep, throw as far as you can outside the light and bring it through nice and easy. And if you have it right over that light or right next to the light, you're going to pound that fish. You will get it. It's like one of those guarantees. I said, good cast, it's a moneymaker. Here it comes, boom, they hit it. And it's wild when it all comes together. Jigs, most success with, for me, and especially with that guy set. I started off with some 3/8 ounce, but the 1/8 ounce and the 1/4 ounce jig heads, white or black, with black eyes and soft plastics, will stay in the zone longer. If you throw a 1/2 inch, you know how fast that drops. You're going to be out of that zone. If you throw that 1/8 ounce, and with your plastic on it, it's going to stay in that zone longer. So the more time you're in that zone, the more you have chance you're going to have of getting that fish. 3/8, I did pretty good 3/8 in January, but then as the water warmed up, I did go lighter and lighter and lighter. 3-inch, 4-inch, and 5-inch white ice flukes, and I got examples of everything. And you're welcome to come over and look what I have. I started with flukes, then I switched to paddle tails, and I've tried dark, I've tried chartreuse, but it's the pearl and the white ice that does it for me. So if you don't see any in Walmart, it's because I probably took them all when I get them. But Walmart has them, Keith has them, Dwayne has them. Make the switch. I say that because I'll throw what's like, for example, last night I was throwing the hit stick 10 times. No, this is my good spot. I don't know what's going on. Took the paddle tail, second one, caught it. Another one, caught it. So they change. And then a couple times they weren't hitting the paddle tail, went back to the split tail, and there it is. I don't know why. I think the bait changes, and you just kind of match your lure, your jig to go with the bait. The bigger the better on the hooks. I know Sean doesn't believe in this, but I did. When I first started, I was using some Swamp Monkey 1/4 ounce. I think they have a 3/0 hook. I was getting in, and I'll talk about it before, it's called a bump. They smack it. They're kind of smacking it, trying to daze it. But you'll feel the bump. And I was missing fish. So I started getting online, finding 1/8 ounce that had bigger hooks. The 5/0s I use and the 4/0s I now use. So 4/0 and 5/0s, and I have some examples. I have great luck with those. And they suck it in. When you hear that bump, they're smacking it or they're trying to suck it in, and it'll go all the way almost down to their stomach when they get a good bite on it. The slower, the better the retrieve will stop and go. And this guy told me this, but I had a guy, I can't say it because it's probably tell my age, but maybe back in the late 70s, early 80s, this guy goes, if you're bumping bottom every now and then, he says, you're bringing it in the right speed. Well, that's crazy. So you as slow as you can, bringing it right in. You'll feel them smacking. Soft plastics I use the Zoom 4 and 5-inch pound tail with split tails, pearl, and white ice. That's my number. That's what I killed it with last night. KVD, that's a real good one, the 4 and 5-inch paddle tail. And the Keytex, and thanks to Sean, if you're watching, he got me hooked on those, and I've caught some nice ones. I really like the 4-inch. He went all the way down to 2A. We were out. I showed him the routine one night, and he went bananas. But he had a 2.8 on there, and he was catching more fish than me at that time, because at the light, the only thing that was in the lights was little peanuts. So, you know, you match your lure to what's out there. Count down before the start of retrieve if you don't see the fish. Like, when I pull into a light, I might count down 1 or 2, but I pull it through real slow. But if you don't see the fish, and I learned this because in January, I threw it out there, tried to mess with my trolling motor. I got it to where I wanted to go, and oh darn, let me reel it in. I got a fish. Well, that's weird. That must be down 15 feet. So I threw it out again. It was deep water. It's a deep cut. So I threw it out there again, and I counted to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't reel it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom, got another fish. So I learned if it's, I think I have it on here, 10 feet and under, vary the drop, and you can change it, even though it might be 10 feet or over 10, change it, but vary the drop rate. 10 feet, under 5 seconds, over 10 feet, go 10 seconds. It works well for me. Many times the stop and go has killed it. I'll bring it in, stop, and then you'll feel it pounding. Because it's coming, it drops, they pound it. If you are touching bottom now and then, you're doing it correctly. Bumps, be ready, and the night before, 2 nights ago, I had a good night too, but I was bringing in the hit sticks, and I'm up in Blackwater, so our water gets muddied a lot faster than anywhere else, so they slap at it a lot, because I guess they don't see it, and they're also trying to stun it before they come back. So you bring in a hit stick, you'll feel them slap it, don't just start reeling in and real quick and try and get the cast out to catch it. Slow down and just bring it in, and bam, they hit it. They slap it, and then they come right back after it. So many times a hit stick, I'll feel them hit it, wait, boom, here it goes. Pull them out from the dock, and this is what I was talking about earlier. I've lost, I got my personal best last night, a 37-incher on a little old 4-inch, 8-ounce jig, but I was able to pull them out, get them out from the docks, before he got tangled in the brush. I mean, it's hard to turn a 37-inch fish, and so you really want to get a head start on them. What I found, pull them from the dock before they realize what's going on, get them out of there, and then play them.
You're pulling them out with your trolling motor or with the rod?
No, it all depends. If I can get them out from the dock, I pull them up real quick, get them away from that pole, then I'll hold it, and then I'll take my trolling motor out, I'll walk them out. A lot of times they'll walk out with you, like I said earlier. What's that?
They'll swim right into that.
Yeah, they'll swim right with you. It's the wildest thing. But if you start pumping, they're going to fight, and they'll go right back to where they're familiar with, all the other fish back at the light, or the point. Let's see, lost some hits. Oh, I lost some really nice hit sticks and jigs on docks, so that's what I learned. When you lose a hit stick, and they say they're discontinued, so you better get them, and you better hold on to them tight, because I keep six jig rods rigged and ready to go. I keep an 1/8 ounce on one side of the boat, a 1/4 ounce on the other, and I do have 4 now on the back. I keep 4 cranks in the back ready to go. I didn't use too much hit sticks until April, and once April hit, it was on. Once the temperature hit 60, and you could see the bait in the lights, that's when I started using the hit stick more. And the guy's Bobo, the guy told me about this 2 years ago. These guys, they're 3-block masons from Rocky Mountain. Big old boys, and they fish out of a bass boat with hit sticks. You imagine a small bass boat, 3 big guys throwing hit sticks, but they catch some big fish, and they figured out how to do it. But he said, John, reel it as fast as you can. No way. So I'm like this, and I like, if it's a deep light, I put my rod tip in the water, I'm trying to dig it in real quick, and hit it, bam, they smack it. You know, a lot of times if it's not as deep, or it's maybe 8 feet, you want a little higher tip, you don't want to get caught up on the bottom. If you have hit sticks, upgrade to Gamakatsu, extra strong, with easy eye, and I should add that to it. It should say short shank up there. And Dwayne has them, and Keith has them. Remember, Keith gives us 10% off. So I upgrade all my hooks. When you're throwing, you're getting a lot of slaps, you're missing hits, fish on the hit stick. But once I put the Gamakatsu hooks on there, there's a difference in night and day. But if they slapped at it, I was getting fish with the hit stick on the side of their face. It's the wildest thing with the Gamakatsu. I was catching fish that I would have lost before. Now I'm getting them and I'm bringing them in. You think you have a state record because, you know, he's on the side and he's pulling away with all his might. Any color, but purple glimmer, hot pink, and blue smelt has worked really well for me. And Boba, you know, my relative, he said, John, if you can't find a purple glimmer, try a hot pink. No way. So I scored a hot pink one, a purple glimmer one night, 10 casts, nothing. Threw the hot pink, first cast. So it is changing up. If you have any color, there's times that any color on those hit sticks will work. Keep at least 2 rods rigged up with the number 15. It should say hit stick. I'm sorry, it's not pound test, but it's the hit stick because when you catch whenever I have a 30-inch or bigger fish, I use the net. Anything below that, I use the bogus. And I'll talk about it here, but I found these. These are amazing. I found the long ones on Amazon. If you get a hit stick in you and the fish is trying to get away, you know, never seen so much pain in your life. So under 30 inches, you can reach down, grab, and pull them up. Now I don't want to lose a big fish, so I will net a big fish. But when you net a fish of that size, you're going to bend some hooks, and you have a chance of losing the fish. So you really have to get a good net when they come in on a big fish with a hit stick. People say number 13. I've never caught anything on a number 13 hit stick. Is anybody?
That's all I use.
Really? I haven't know. You did? You 13 or 15?
I think it's 13 I have.
Huh. I didn't know you had 13.
But I changed the hooks on them.
Oh, you did?
The hooks are really thin
Yeah,
gauge,
yeah.
so I think the 15 has 3 trebles, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
13 has 3 trebles,
Yeah.
but I took the middle treble off and put bigger trebles on the end.
Okay.
That's what I do, the same thing.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I tell you, you better, like I said the other time, you better change them split rings when you change it too.
Yeah, you know, one of mine I did change it, but I had to find the right size split rings. And I had a collection, but not the size.
Amazon, you can buy them by the case.
Yeah, I'll do that.
300 for 52 cents.
And Rapala F-18 Vampire retrieved at medium speed. I found out, not fast speed, but medium speed, and you guys know it on the Rapala. It's funny, Ken and I were in a boat, and Tommy called me up, Tommy Thompson, my guide, and he said, John, you got any, I have a guided trip tonight, and him and I were talking, because you got any ideas where they're at? And we kind of talked, but he had a vampire that had slid under a seat, and I pulled it up, and there was a pink trim line on his vampires. I said, what's this? He goes, well, you just saw my top secret. I said, what's that?
Well, now you're telling everybody.
Yeah, he goes, I take a pink, what do you call it, trim, what's that little trim strip on cars?
Pinstripe.
Yeah, pinstripe. Hey, he takes a pink pinstripe and he puts it on his vampires. He said it makes a difference of night and day. So, you know, there's another tip. I upgraded my vampires too to the Gamakatsus. Deep divers, I don't have much luck on some of them. I did try a deep dive in redfin last night and a deep dive in Missouri. Nothing. We talked about, I wanted to be consistent. So all of my rods and reels have 15-pound braid with Alberto knot. First I didn't do it, and then Chad told me to go ahead and put mono backing on. So now I have a 20-pound mono, and then I use my braid. And I found Cast King Walmart braid, and it's some of the best stuff around, and it's cheap.
It is cheap.
Yeah, and it's really good for me. But when you're throwing every night and you're hitting docks and you're catching fish and the hooks get up there, I cut off, after about an hour, I'll cut off a couple feet, and I'll just keep cutting them off. And then you can tell by the color of the line, and after a while too, I don't wait. Some people say, I've used this for years. No, I've had it for 2 weeks, and then I'm respooling because I've lost a couple like that. And like Sean, he uses leaders, but he has 2 more hooks, 2 more knots to worry about than I use. So I don't need any leader. I've never used a leader on mine. I go right to the lures. It works good for me.
So you get the braid right to the lure.
Yeah, right to it. I mean,
Wow.
it works well.
Low vis,
Yeah.
dark
Well, yeah,
braid.
you,
I don't use
this is it right here. I'm a black water, so, you know, it's kind of muddy anyway, but it's a dark green. Works good.
If you had that chartreuse, you'd probably wanna use a bit of meter, wouldn't you, during the day anyway?
Oh, yeah, if I had a light color, you know, I would. There's that same guy that I got tips from, he has black lights on the side of his boat. So he can see his line, his lures, because of that. I want to reduce all the other variables, so I just want, you know, a dark gray, and I've had no problem with, as long as I tie a good knot, you know, at night, you know, my eyes, and
Yeah.
my headlight, oh, speaking of which, I got your headlight. I throw a 7-foot Bass Pro graphite. Now, I don't have as deep as pockets as, you know, Chad. He has
Not me,
it's
brother.
expensive stuff.
Not me.
Or John, but I found this 7-foot rod right here. Ken hooked it up, it was too heavy to me, but I really like it. This is a one black graphite series. It's a $40 rod, and they have 10% off all the time. I just said I'm gonna order 10 of them. I got 10 of them, and this is a Fluger SP40. I want all my reels the same because I want to be able to cast exactly where I wanted it to drop. These are SP40s. Walmart sells them for $40, and they're smooth. They're 7-8 bearings.
What's the
Smooth
gear
as ever.
ratio?
What's that?
What's the gear ratio?
It is the fast retrieve. I don't know offhand. I should have brought the box, but it is a fast retrieve, so it's perfect for me, especially with the hit stick.
What the hell is a hit stick?
What's that?
What is a hit stick?
It's a lure.
Google search,
Yeah.
It's a Berkeley. It's made by Berkeley.
There's my little hit stick box. But you can pass this around, but I did count these.
Do you ever fish in the day?
I have a lot of that.
Yeah, well, Ken and I, he's the one that, it's his fault I'm dispossessed, and he calls it, you're addicted to this. It's his fault because he got me into it. I retired a year ago, and we started planer board fishing, and we've had a blast. We've caught a lot of nice fish, but yeah, you know, we'll be planer board fishing. When the bait's good, we're having a hard time getting bait like that.
We have two boats. His boat's set up for night fishing, mine's set up for day fishing.
Like I said before, keep it quiet, stay out as far as possible. Don't roll in like you're in a bass boat, Chad. Rocking the docks. I've seen boats roll in at night, and they come rolling right up to the light, and the docks are, and you watch the fish just disappear. I stop, Ken and I know, we stop about 50 yards out, you know, we stop way out, get the trolling motor in, get all ready to go, and we creep up, so I'm not trying to stop the boat with a reversed on my Minn Kota. I like to roll right in and get that perfect cast. Land your fish away from the lighter bank, landing net, great for jigs, but it is murder on the hit sticks. But now you know what the Berkeley hit stick is. It will bend the hooks. Use the boga, and like I said, that big boga right here, Amazon has them, and they're not bad. I think it's like $59, but I use this all the time. And it's also, and yesterday I needed it because as the water warms up, you want to get that fish down below that 1 foot. You get below a foot, it's a lot colder water. So I can get it down there and they can revive a little bit easier. Oh, here's here's some jigs. I didn't count those. What's that?
No, I just said you counted on two, right?
Start those over here, Bruce. Let me start over here.
Wow.
Let's see, night picks. Oh, you'll see I'm really horrible on night picks. When you buy yourself, I'm trying to do, selfies, and then I just said, heck with it, I'll just take a picture of the fish. Now I just add to it the morning bite. Ken and I were going planer board fishing in January. We go by and right at daylight, here's a guy out there in January fishing off his dock, and he was catching stripers. So we realized that the morning bite, we were using spooks. Let's see what else. Yeah, that first hour in the morning too, really good, January, February. weight baits and walkers. And Sean kind of got me hooked up on the weight baits, but the red fins, jointed thunder stick, and Tommy said it well. The red fins, we used to use red fins all the time on this lake, but he said he uses thunder stick now because the red fins are so light. When stripers hit them, they don't get a hook set to blow them out of the water. So now he's using the thunder stick and getting more hits. KBD 2.5, that's an awesome weight bait. The Mikey spooks are right now. I keep one rigged on my boat. The cane walker Sean likes. I haven't tried it yet.
Is that the one that, it's got the mouth on it that it chugs?
Yeah.
You pull it and it shoots water forward, yes.
Right. And that's one of the pictures that you have on there that he has, I think the cane walker. And it's pretty, I got it down pat now. I can be out fishing. I'm coming in and Ken starts catching bait at 5:30 in the morning. I pass him, hey Ken, done. I'll be there in a second. So I get to the dock, he comes over with his bait and we go back out and fish the daylight.
Oh my God.
Got a big rotation going there, huh?
And I get plenty of sleep.
How about any, let me make sure I got, any points, some stuff on here.
Wow.
No, anything for me, anything you can help me with, if you see, I can catch.
That's awesome.
When you were talking up there about changing your line so regularly, I tell you a trick for the bass tournament days. When I'd use 4,000 yards of line every couple of months, what I got to do, and I was take 2 reels, same thing. You take the line off the reel you want to take it off of and spool it onto another one. Then you're taking all the old line and putting it deep in new line out on the end. You save yourself half of the line that you're going to use.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You save a whole lot of line when you start, using that much line in a year.
Let me, and one thing I did too, John and I have talked about this, but he jumped me one day and said, if you're gonna pinch that tail, you would have got another inch out of that on one of mine. But I made this little prototype that, you put your fish in here, and I pull it like this, it'll pinch that tail together. So then you'll see me, I can get up and take a picture and be able to pinch that tail. So we're hoping Tommy Moore would be here so he could maybe make one that looks a lot prettier than what I got. Here's another one I use for these things. Hopefully everybody has these. These are so handy in the boat. I'm going to send out this. One of the jigs that I've been real successful with is the Z-Man Red Eye 1/8 ounce. It's easy to pop on real quick. It has a 4-aught hook, really sharp, and my hook sets have jumped up with that. I'm going to put these in here. If you want to pass these around.
You haven't counted those?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll just leave them up here.
So Z-Man is the brand?
Yeah, yes, and I'll put it right here. It's called Z-Man Redfish Eye, and you have different colored eyes you can get. I go with just the pearl eye, and I did get Yamagatsu hooks. I really like it. It's a 3-aught hook. Really good point set. I just got to paint them, and then I got it down pat now. I can paint these things real easy, put an eyeball on them. But these are really good. They're shorter shank, so it's just I keep them rigged. If these aren't working, I'll try something else. It's amazing, just having all these rods rigged up. You're throwing all night.
Do you remember the day, the SML Gives Day? You brought me some of those. They're unpainted. They're 1/8, maybe 1/4 ounce jig heads, but they have a really, really long shank on them.
Yeah.
And those those jig heads are awesome for like 5-inch swim baits because the longer shank on them.
Yes, I do.
Do
I
you
can
remember what brand they were?
at.
6 cent? Were they 6 cents?
Oh, yes, you're right. That's
Okay.
right. Dwayne had them and he ran out. When I got them in here, let's see what we get.
Like if I'm fishing a 4-inch swim bait, I want that hook to come out about 2/3 of the way down the body. Well, that same swim bait head does not work for a 5 or a 5.5 inch. You need a longer shank because you'll miss. You could miss fish.
Walmart carries a good jig head.
You know the brand name of it?
Yes, I've used it. They are good.
They
Yes.
are good. They're a sharp hook, a big hook.
You painted this and put the eyes on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, and then I kind of experimented, I got the eyes and I super glued them on, and it works.
Yes,
It works well.
that's a great jig head right there. 6 cents.
Anything else? Anybody else?
Yeah. Do you have any tips for someone like me to get over the fear factor of fishing on the lake at night?
Take someone
Yeah,
with
I'm
you.
listening to that one. I have the same fear.
Take someone with you. It
Yeah,
helps.
take somebody with you, and then make sure, he got on me one day, make sure you get your life preserver on. But there are times, I don't even put my big motor on. There's so many docks and lights, if you live in some of these communities, there's lights everywhere. And you don't think that light's a good light, but it's amazing how much fish is on
And
this
so
light.
you don't go all over the lake?
Oh, no, I stay on Blackwood. Every now, I went to Gills Creek once, and I wasn't impressed, so I,
Mackie caught them all.
yeah.
I have been light fishing for 20 years, and I made a mistake by telling Hawk Lad. Then you had to pick a number to get in.
Well, there's a couple on the lake, they call it the stoplight. And you go rolling, you look over, there's somebody out there. Darn it, I wanted to hit that light. So that's why I fish so late. If you go there between 8 and 12, there's somebody on a lot of these lights around, especially on Gills Creek to the right. To the right of Striker's Landing, there's some.
Stay out of there.
Yeah, yeah.
Stay in there.
Down here at 22.
But there's lights everywhere. But I would go slow, take somebody with you, and do you use the mnemonics app?
Not very often.
Yeah,
No,
but
no.
it's a great app. You pay the $24.99 a year. You can zoom it up. You can put it on your dash, and you can make sure you're in the middle. So the other night I was cruising, and I got spooked. I'm by myself at 2 in the morning. Said, "What's going on?" There was a power shortage on this south end of the lake, and when you don't see the normal lights, man, I was like, "Where am I at?" I mean, I was lost. But it is spooky. I've got spooked. Anything else? So, yes.
One thing that I would mention, and years ago, we had a club member who gave a little speech, because we were night fishing back then. And he happened to cast up at a tree, caught his lure, and was pulling it back, and it came out of the tree, and he wore it across his face, and literally came back. Remember that? I forget the guy's name.
Well, that's what somebody was talking about, them guys 3 fishing in a boat. When I used to bring my nephews down, I'd make them wear safety glasses. Because they strike to the hit. They hear it and they, yank. Instead of feeling the fish, it's instantaneous. And I mean, these these lures with 3 trebles whizzing by your head.
But that's why I really, like Walter, took him out. It's like a while before I let him start slinging, because you don't know how people are, how they aim, and you don't know their backswing, if you're gonna get nailed or not, so, and he's very safe, so he has open.
But you will get hung up on the bank. And
Yeah.
my advice
Well,
is
that's the whole idea of
cut it,
fishing
come back
lights.
tomorrow and pick it up and leave it there.
If you get the perfect cast on lights, you're not gonna get on banks. The only thing you gotta worry about is hooking a dock, but you gotta get the perfect cast, so you cast it away from the docks, but bringing it through that light.
Well, I would say, my experience is don't set up looking at the dock.
Right.
Set up alongside the dock so you're casting across the back. Because remember, you're out there in the dark, casting at someone's dock. You get to, thank God, like the other night I had one on a friend's of ours. I know the guy. And you start pulling your line up to get the hook off somebody's dock in the dark, and the motion light goes on, or they got a camera. You're not in a great place. So you'd be better off casting across the back of the boat as opposed to casting towards the boat.
There's another thing too, there's all these lights, there's monster catfish.
Yes.
So Walter and
Oh,
I,
yeah.
we got it figured out. We're gonna go, he's gonna bring a bunch of bluegill, and we're gonna drop bluegill, and instead of striper fishing, we'll start a catfish club. But we're gonna try dropping some bluegill on these lights, because when they go, it's so wild to all of a sudden see the light go dark, and you look at this
Yeah.
figure, and they're like this.
Yeah.
This, you see them.
They look like an aircraft carrier coming through.
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
slow.
huge, absolutely huge.
So John, you're not fishing dark banks at all then? You're just fishing
Oh,
lights?
no, I will fish dark lights.
Okay.
In between lights, let's say if I have 2 dock lights that are, 300 yards of power, these stripers don't just stay there.
Oh, yeah.
They'll hit this and they'll go to the next light. So this highway between the two, it's easy cast, especially if you get on the bank and cast
Parallel.
Parallel. Man, it's real successful.
How close you have your boat when you're doing that, fishing parallel to the bank?
And I'm up in the front, I don't like some of you guys with the 5 graphs up front. I don't have one up front, so I don't get that close. I would say, maybe 10, 15 feet from the bank, just so I don't bottom out somewhere.
Right.
Closer you get, the better though.
But,
If you can get up in water this far from the bank and you got enough water and keep that lure just in that.
And you lose a hit stick if I'm doing that, because I can't see the trees that are down, so it all depends on, what's going on.
What's a rip
Where
rap?
did you lose your
Yeah. But I'm telling you.
Where did I lose?
Yeah, where did you lose it?
I've had a couple of horses that, I know they were big fish. They were, my personal best is 37. I'd love to break that 40 and get something 40. And I've had some that I could not turn. And you feel them getting down in the trees, or they turn around, and especially I have one, my neighbor. I talked to him in the Bible light, put it out on his dock, and now he loves it, because he goes out, he goes, John, my kids come down and they throw hit sticks out and catch fish off it. But if I hit his light at 3 in the morning, it's gonna be some big fish. But I had one that went in behind, and he had metal poles.
Yeah.
And I could feel it.
Yeah.
There goes my hit stick. It's, oh, God.
Cut the braid, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Easy.
It will.
Well, if any of you guys are interested, there's a woman up on the Blackwater that is in need of human, attention. Or male attention, I think.
Mrs. Hughes?
Yeah, I think so.
Touchy subject.
Oh, she's the one. No, she's the one. She wants to watch your Hallmark in peace and quiet. She goes, "Are you going fishing? Y'all know what that means. Let me watch her." Oh, it was one Thursday night. I didn't go. And I said, "What are you watching this ghost show?" And as a matter of fact, you know what ghost show it is on Thursday night. And I said, "What in the world what are you watching this?" She goes, "Well, you're never here on Thursday, so I watch what I want to watch." She's great. She's very supportive. And I rolled in at 6 in the morning. She goes, "You need a nap?" And I said, "Yep." So I closed the door. Pearl's my puppy, comes with me. And she's most of the time in the front of the boat. And I said, "Pearl, I got fish." She'll jump up in the front of the boat and see what it is. But Pearl, it's time for nap time. Her and I go in the room and we're out for a couple hours. But thanks, everybody. Appreciate you listening.
All right.